Another question is, why did some people in biblical times not believe in Jesus? What you had when Jesus came into the world was you had a community of people in the Jewish community who were looking for a Messiah. They were living under Roman rule and feeling that they needed to do more to break out of the limitations that Roman society had placed upon them, and they were looking for a specific kind of Messiah, and for some people that was going to be someone who was going to lead a rebellion, and that it was going to be a revolution, if you will, against the Roman powers. And Jesus came as a very different kind of Messiah. He came as a Messiah that's named in the prophet Isaiah as a suffering servant. And so he did not fit into some people's idea of what the Messiah would be. So you have for some of the Jews that he was not militant enough for them. But then you had Gentiles, which were those non-Christian Greeks and Romans who really didn't have necessarily any kind of preparation to understand who this man was. And indeed, some of the historians who look at, who describe Jesus from that time, they were peers. They were actually living close to his time. He was regarded as a magician and someone who was leading a type of movement, but a movement that they didn't understand. So part of it is you had a very diverse culture of people, Greeks and Romans and people from all different kinds of backgrounds that were more pagan, and then you had the Jewish community, and this was a very confusing time for the Jewish community to try to understand who this rabbi was, who was challenging the religious laws of the day, saying, you know, if you're going to stone that woman committing adultery, then, you know, you who haven't sinned, you be the first one to throw the stone. When in fact, the law allowed for a woman caught in adultery to be stoned. So you have this rabbi who's pushing up against the religious laws of the day and challenging them and making people think, but also who seemed to have an authority about him that made people pay attention. So I think it's just as it is in any time. People are trying to interpret what they're experiencing, and they needed to tie it back into, is this the Messiah we've been looking for? And then there were those who, when they truly experienced his miracles and the power of his teaching, they said, this is the one.